So, guys, being future ready for your Canadian permanent residence is extremely important. With the changing dynamics of the programs, the changing intakes, the number of draws, everything is changing so rapidly, and there are so many details. Then it becomes extremely difficult for people to navigate through these changing paradigms, and then becomes a $1 million question that Sahil, what exactly should we do down to the basics? What should be done when it comes to getting the right pathway for Canadian PR? Well, if that is your question, then this video will help you in a lot of sense. Please be sure to watch the video till the end. My name is Sahil. So guys, welcome back once again. My name is Sahil and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I practice in Ontario. My office is here. If you have to get in touch with me, my number is on the screen and the details are there in the description box. More than happy to connect with you. Before we proceed any further, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we talk a lot about Canadian immigration. And if you are an aspirant of coming to Canada, then this is a channel that you must be subscribed to all the time. So guys, we are discussing the $1 million question with regards to Canadian permanent residents in the current times. Well, the question is that so much is changing. There are so many intakes, draws, programs, PNPs, express entry, student visas and whatsoever. What exactly should be done and how should we navigate our pathway to PR, because the draws are really, really high. And is there one thing that we can do, or are there couple of areas that we must focus on when it comes to getting the Canadian permanent residence relatively easier than before? Well guys, let's just look at how Canadian immigration has been panning out in response to the world immigration. Because if you look at the Western world right now, US is a hot destination. Prior to US, Australia, and then there was UK as well. Then there has been New Zealand as well. If you look at the whole trail, the world immigration started off with people migrating towards UK, especially how we remember immigration is basically Indians going towards UK. Then people started moving towards US became more popular through Hollywood as well. Then after US came into picture, Australia, New Zealand, and then when Australia and New Zealand became tougher, when there were a lot of migrants going towards those countries, then came the wave of Canada. And today, presently, the Canadian wave of immigrants is extremely big and lucrative because of two reasons. One, the country is so big, and second, the population in this country is so small. So definitely the kind of programs, the kind of taxpayers that these guys require is huge in demand, and hence the dynamics fit right. Canadian immigration is here to stay for long, because right now if you look at UK immigration, it's on an all-time low. Then a little bit higher than UK would be US, a little more than that would be New Zealand, a little more would be Australia, and top would be Canadian immigration when it comes to accepting people, ease of accepting people, and the programs and all of that. So in that particular the pyramid structure, Canada is there, which is the most lucrative option as of date. Within Canada, couple of programs are there. You talk about permanent residence programs like the express entry, their provincial nomination programs, and their pilot programs. Then there are humanitarians, refugees, and then the family sponsorships. If you talk about the temporary visas under it, there are visitors, work permits, then study permits, and there are a couple of other programs which can be used under the TRPs or the visitor categories. If you talk about all of these programs, I think the best pathway or the most effective pathway is express entry for sure. But unfortunately, the express entry cutoffs have been on an all-time high. The previous cutoffs were hovering around 490, with many of the temporary foreign workers and students coming to Canada. The cutoffs have gone up. People have had the liberty of COVID-19 related times when they learned French and took all the other English lessons and everything to increase their scores. So that really pushed up all the scores. So the only hope that is now triggered on express entry is based on Bill C-19, which is very short in time to come. So this spring, Bill C-19 will get implemented, and we are hopeful that it will be beneficial for a lot of people inside Canada. Although Bill C-19 may not give much pleasant news with regards to applicants outside Canada. Okay, so when they start creating the buckets, The buckets can contain people, say for example, a person or a truck driver, for example, inside Canada may have a lower cutoff versus, say for example, an IT person or an IT applicant inside Canada will have a lower cutoff or can have a lower cutoff versus an IT applicant outside Canada can have a higher cutoff. And obviously these buckets can be very variable, right? So these are just examples. We're yet to see what kind of buckets are going to be there, but still it's going to have a major impact. With attached to Bill C-19, another thing to note is that Canada is laying a lot of bets and focus on foreign students, international students inside Canada, and foreign workers or temporary foreign workers inside Canada. If you look at the recent programs like open work permits for family members or work permit holders, that was one key moment. Then 18-month extensions for a lot of students. Now this was the third year in a row when they gave that 18-month extension. So all of this only tells that Canada really wants people inside Canada to focus more on immigration, because these are quick low hanging fruits for Canadian immigration. These people have worked hard and deserve a PR, and then they have contributed to the economy in a much better sense, and they are waiting in line. They've already accustomed or gotten in way of the Canadian lifestyle, so they are good sets, good fits for Canadian PR. Having that in mind, I think one effective pathway would be that if you are not able to get an express entry or a PNP or anything straight away from India or anywhere else that you may be in, you could look at exploring the temporary pathways like a student or a worker or maybe a visitor, then converting visitor into either a student or a worker. But then yes, looking at a temporary residence, TR, converting it into a PR. So TR to PR, although TR to PR is not coming like the cliche TR to PR that happened previously, but yes, a temporary residence to a permanent residence pathway is going to be very good. Like I said, Bill C-19 and the other programs, they are really focusing towards those programs, right? If you talk about French, the second language, French is really playing an important role. The recent programs, the recent draws with Ontario, and obviously Quebec is always there. Then additional points in Saskatchewan PNP, additional language points in express entry by itself has an important role to play, and they are more than enough to give you a push beyond the cutoff. Okay, so take French very seriously. No matter, you could be inside Canada or you could be outside Canada, but French can really turn your tables around. The next important factor would be to find yourself a job in Canada. You could be outside Canada, say in US, India or Pakistan, anywhere, but finding a job in Canada will be really helpful. Please be sure to find the job through valid sources, because LMIAs, selling LMIAs, paying extra under the table can be really detrimental. It can lead to deportation as well at times. So it is purely illegal to pay any money for finding a job. Example, somebody is offering you an LMI in lieu of some money, that is 100% illegal. So do not fall into that trap. But yes, finding a genuine job, a genuine LMIA will be very important, and it definitely is a better approach than getting a student visa. But since people are not able to find a direct job, that is why they want to go towards student visa, right? So, but obvious choice. Last will be the another thing to note is that the humanitarian and the refugee categories in the coming years is going to be on an all-time low. If you look at the projections, that was there in the month of I guess September or November, the 3-year plan that clearly said that Canada is going to reduce the number of refugees and the humanitarian approvals that they're going to give. So all of that is not a good bet as of today, until you're actually in that situation and you actually want help. So obviously people who take up these cases, refugees and humanitarian, just because they're not able to find other options, for them it's going to be a bad option. But yes, if you are actually in need of help, for sure go ahead and use it, because it is going to be there, although smaller in number. So guys, I think pretty much to be future ready for your Canadian permanent residence, couple of things again, a recap. One, looking at a temporary program like a visitor, student or work, then converting into a PR, TR to PR would be a great option. Second could be looking at learning French, and obviously improving your English could be a very important option. Third could be focusing on jobs. I think that will be really, really helpful for you. If you're able to get yourself an LMIA or get yourself a job in support of a PNP, that will also be very helpful. But yes, going forward, I think in the coming years, this will be the groundbreaking or the right path towards getting a permanent residence. If you want to chalk out your pathway to PR, if you have any questions pertaining to your personal profile, please feel free to schedule a consultation with me. I would be more than happy to discuss your case and then, take your pathway forward. Once again, I wish you all the best and we really hope to see you soon in Canada. All the best.